Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. I rise today in strong support of this bipartisan, bicameral measure to treat the commissioned officers of one of our nation's 7 uniformed services, the National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration's Commissioned Officers Corps, with the same basic statutory recruitment, advancement, retention, and benefit structure, and with the same respect as is accorded the commissioned officers of our other 6 armed services, the Army, Navy, Air Force, Marines, Coast Guard, and Public Health Service. The bill before us today is led by Republican Alaskan Senator Sullivan. It passed through the Senate committee and the Senate itself by unanimous consent. It is a virtual companion with improvements to the H.R. 2406, which was introduced by me and both Democratic and Republican colleagues and reported out of our Natural Resources Committee. If passed today, it will go straight to the President, whose Department of Commerce testified to our Natural Resource Committee, and I quote, "The Department believes this bill would improve NOAA's ability to administer the NOAA Corps. The Department is very supportive of the ability to retain veterans of the NOAA Corps and the unique skill sets they possess. The Office of Management and Budget has advised that there is no objection to the transmittal of these views from the standpoint of the administration's programs," unquote. The bill is also supported wholeheartedly by 2 of our nation's foremost service member organizations, the 350,000-strong Military Officers Association of America, representing all military officers of all services, and the 5.5 million-strong Military Coalition, whose motto is, quote, "proudly serving all 7 uniformed services," unquote. In fact, but for the isolated objections of a few members, which we may hear from shortly, which appear to arise from some combination of a fundamental misunderstanding or lack of appreciation for the mission of NOAA and its Uniform Officer Corps, one could scarcely imagine a more broadly supported measure. The National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration, or NOAA, celebrates its half-century anniversary this year as, quote, "America's Environmental Intelligence Agency." And never during that half-century has its mission been so important, and never has it been growing so fast. NOAA now operates oceanic observation and research throughout our world's oceans, measuring the health of our oceans, the health of our fisheries, and weather prediction. It operates atmospheric research and observation, weather prediction, again, national hazard warnings. It operates fisheries enforcement increasingly throughout our world, including in partnership with our friends and allies. And it increases partnerships with foreign countries, projecting part of our soft power throughout this world. It does its vital work with a critical team, including the structured, uniformed, commissioned officers corps. The women and men of the NOAA Corps operate NOAA's highly specialized international fleet of research and survey ships and aircraft. They conduct international world-class oceanic and atmospheric research and including the famous hurricane hunter aviators who fly into, above, and around hurricanes to give NOAA's National Weather Service forecasters accurate data for their storm forecasts and warnings used by emergency managers as they make life and death decisions. Like the other uniformed services, active duty NOAA Corps officers spend most of their careers away from home, at sea, in the air, and in remote locations, such as Antarctica, conducting this important work. Their work is frequently in increasingly hazardous conditions. However, the Corps is often overlooked in the legislative process, resulting in a patchwork of statutory authorities, benefits, and service obligations. This bill will help the NOAA Corps improve recruitment, retention, and diversity to attract the best and the brightest commissioned officers and better align the NOAA Corps with the other uniformed services as they continue their service to NOAA and our nation. The NOAA Corps Amendments Act is an important step to make sure that the NOAA Corps has the authorities it needs to continue as an effective service for our country. The bill gives the NOAA Corps officers employment rights in line with other uniformed services, authorize education loan repayment programs for NOAA Corps officers, and tuition support for prospective officers, and gives NOAA updated authorities to manage the size and composition of the Corps. In their letter supporting the NOAA Corps Amendments Act, the Military Officers Association of America, the nation's leading voice for commissioned officers of all 7 uniformed services, highlighted the importance of the NOAA Corps for national defense. They stated that, quote, "The unique scientific and operational expertise, flexibility, and deployment capability of the NOAA Corps continues to be a force multiplier for U.S. and ally air, land, and sea operation." This first reauthorization of the NOAA Commissioned Corps since 2002, under the House counterpart bill's co-introducer, the Dean of the House, Mr. Young, further improves the diversity of the Corps by authorizing financial aid for a student pre-commissioning education in exchange for service, which will prioritize underserved populations to undertake careers in NOAA, and addresses sexual harassment issues by strengthening the Corps' policies, including required reporting of potential offenses. Mr. Speaker, we may shortly hear objections that, as noted, represent a distinct minority in Congress and the uniformed services community. They recite 3 decades-old arguments that we have long moved past. They recite various arguments that could just as easily be made for any other uniformed service. And if we're going to go down that road, should we not make those arguments globally, not selectively and discriminatorily as to one of our 7 services? And they recite arguments that are simply inaccurate and, again, that seem to reflect a deep misunderstanding of NOAA's mission. Here's the bottom line for this bill. NOAA does exist. It has existed for 50 years. It has done its work with a committed officer corps for 50 years. It is not being abolished. That mission, that corps will continue. That mission is critical, and its personnel must be recognized and improved. And NOAA officers are commissioned officers in our services and should be fully recognized as such, similar to all others. Mr. Speaker, I urge all of my colleagues to support this bipartisan, bicameral, needed and fair bill. Thank you, and I reserve the balance of my time.